What's up, traders? This is Vee Trades, and today I'll be doing a technical analysis breakdown for Alibaba with the ticker symbol BABA. These are my highly anticipated weekly Sunday updates. Please read the description below if you'd like to see the services I provide. Before we begin, please take a second to give the video a like and subscribe for more chart analysis. I appreciate all those who have already subscribed and liked my videos. Just a reminder that this video is for entertainment purposes only and does not constitute any financial advice. We will start out the technical analysis by going over what I see on the daily chart and potential price targets. Then we will take a quick look on the weekly chart to wrap it all up. But before I go onto the charts, let's start out by going over some updates. So I did start a position in Alibaba, just a small position for me, since I don't want to time exactly the bottom and I'm already happy to buy at these price levels. I will continue to buy if prices do start dropping to the 130 target I envision that prices could reach. So if I buy anywhere between right now and the 130 target, I'm pretty happy with that. My average right now is 158. I am holding for a 4 to 5 x gain, so I do not care about timing the absolute bottom. But normally, if you want to wait for the a confirmation of an uptrend, you want to wait for like a reversal pattern before getting closest possible to the bottom. But if you don't really care and you're holding for like 5 to 7 years, then I personally just went in right now just to get a small amount. And another thing regarding the Evergrande situation, I personally do not care about it. The technicals usually show the upcoming news and they usually write the news to fit the chart. It's very hard to predict the news, right? But it's easier to make predictions on the price using the technicals and the past patterns. So when you can predict the technicals, you can predict the news pretty much, because you kind of know what is coming next and what they will write and send out in the news for to make it look like the price dropped because of the news, right? And I usually do the opposite of what the media tells me anyway, and it works out very well. So I don't really get locked in on the media, because sometimes things happen, sometimes they don't. You don't want to worry about things that might not happen or it might will. I don't really care about that. And at the end of the day, I only invest with money I can afford to lose. That's a great advice to anybody. That's pretty much the number one rule of investing. So even if I have money in Alibaba and something happens tragically, who really cares, right? It was money I can afford to lose. I'm okay with it. I took the risk and I understood what could potentially happen, but the reward outweighed the risk, so I took it. And eventually, if something goes bankrupt or whatever, it is what it is. Also, people who shop with Alibaba, if they hear about that Evergrande situation, I don't think they really care about that. Just like if something happened with Amazon, where they said like, hey, this bank is gonna sell 1,000 or 2,000 or even 1,000,000 shares or whatever, right, of Amazon. Are people going to stop buying from Amazon just because of that? No, not really. This might not affect Alibaba like on the sales wise. They'll probably still continue to make the sales and profits, so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And if the company fundamentals are sound, but there's a disconnect with the technicals, I believe they will eventually match up, just like with Alibaba. So the fundamentals are still sound. It's pretty much a better company it was back 4 years ago, right? However, we're still trading at that level. There is a little more risk and people are worried, but that's the time to be buying. Eventually they will probably match up. This has happened before numerous times. China always says they're going to be cracking down on these companies, but that will only hurt them in the future, because they do want to be a world superpower, and China has like a capitalistic economy, but a communist government. So they do like capitalistic ideas. They do want to have like strong companies, but obviously the government still wants to be stronger. But we just got to see what happens. But that's pretty much my opinion regarding that situation. So let's go ahead and start this technical analysis. So we're still kind of in this channel right here. We're still following this channel. I believe it's not played out yet. So let me go and show you guys right now. So this is the channel that I see Alibaba inside of. So we're making lower lows, lower highs. And we had that break outside and we kind of almost made that new low. Not yet. I mean, maybe this isn't really a convincing break outside. So that's why we kind of still following this channel. So right now it looks like we kind of testing these lows again. And we will probably see a larger pullback in the future, maybe something like this, all the way up to back here, maybe the 180 level. So we could be going into a range, something like this. Let me show you guys right now. So we could be doing something like that. It's a little too early to tell because we're still in the strong downtrend, and any pullbacks are pretty much deflected instantly once it comes back to that EMA. So we could be pulling back to the EMA around that 168 level, 170 level, or if we do break it, we probably could go up to these highs around that 180 level. But right now it looks like we are pulling back because we were super close to these previous lows. I don't think this is a reversal pattern just yet. It's too early to say, especially since we're not getting a lot of buying from these levels, and this trend hasn't really played out yet, especially since we haven't really made a new low of this red channel or this smaller one right here, this micro channel right here. So we haven't got a new low of this one. As you can see here, all the price bars are still inside of it. Let me zoom in a little better. So all these the several price bars inside of these micro yellow channel that's working down, and this was the first breakout side. And usually if we get a breakout side of a channel, we usually go back down to retest the lows, kind of like what happened here. We had a breakout side of this channel and we went down to retest those lows, but usually they make a new low. So we haven't got that new low yet, so I'm not 100% confident that this is a bottom for Alibaba, and we're probably just going to pull back just because we're far away from the EMA. Let me zoom out again. So we're still following this larger downtrend channel right here. So this is the larger downtrend channel that I see Alibaba still inside of. We haven't really got a break outside of this one yet either. So there's still 3 channels that are working lower, and we're just having a slight pullback, maybe back to the EMA or even higher, kind of like a refresh or a correction back up. So we could get a correction back up to this EMA or that 180 level, or even this back of this yellow channel right around that 193 level, or we could even break it. Either way, this doesn't really look like the end for this downtrend. We could do something like this, back down to the 130 level. And I keep on saying this 130 level just because we fell back inside of this range that Alibaba was previously inside of. And when we fall back in the range, we kind of just follow those rules again, the range patterns. So if we're at the highs, we go back to the lows, and if we're at the lows, we go back to the highs. So this is pretty much the range that I was talking about, and we fell back inside of it. Let me change the color. Let's make it orange. So inside of this orange range, see how prices go up and down, and then it broke out, and then we fell back inside of it. So now we're kind of like right in the middle, so it's hard to tell what it wants to do. We could go back up to retest the highs of the range, because that's where the breakout was, and then continue lower. Either way, you know, just a little pullback for a couple of days isn't a lot of reasons to be confident that this is a bottom, right? We only had like 2 green days. You know, that's not enough. Even if we do break outside of these channels, I still expect to retest the low or even a new one. So expect those coming in the coming weeks and months. And that's pretty much already telling me what the news is going to be, right? If prices are still going lower and we're just having a little pullback, they're probably going to have some big news coming up that will drop the prices even more. And I wouldn't be surprised with it, because we do expect a retest of these lows, right? And possibly they want to reach this 130 target. So they're going to keep on coming with bad news and go to the targets that they want to reach before they reverse it. Because it's not the retail buyers or sellers who are moving these markets, right? Even if we have like maybe 10,000 of us, right, buying like hundreds of shares, that's still not enough to move the market, right? These guys have millions and millions and millions of dollars who move the markets, the banks or whoever are moving it, whatever the targets they want to reach, wherever the liquidity is, or the stop losses they want to hunt, that's where they'll move it to, and eventually they will finish, and then they will reverse the market. We did have that continuation of the downtrend as I spoke about last week. Let me just zoom back in a little bit closer. Let me go ahead and erase the drawings, move the drawings. So after my analysis, the market did open lower on that 13th, and we did have 4 to 5, 1, 2, 3, 4 bars that were lower after this red bar. So even if I did take a trade, or someone took a trade right below this red bar, it would have paid off. However, we expected us to stop this person out and go lower, but we stopped here. So yeah, eventually the markets don't reach the targets, right? But we expect it to do it. I remember this person left a comment, Paul B. Leslie. It was a pretty good comment. He said, or she said, "Nobody can read the future with certainty. The charts may indicate where the next low may be, but doesn't mean it will happen." See, that's exactly what I talk about with the technicals. It doesn't mean that we will get there 100% of the time, right? But it gives me an idea where prices are going. Because if you are 100% certain, then you would be a trillionaire right now, right? But no one's a trillionaire. So sometimes, you have to have your stop loss. I mean, you always have to have your stop loss because you can't be right 100% of the time if you're trading, right? If you're investing, you just want to pick companies with good fundamentals, and the technicals are disconnected from it, right? Eventually, it will probably catch up. And that's what Alibaba is. It's a good company with the technicals disconnected. We're just having this correction period, and eventually it will probably stop and it will go back up to the highs. But we don't know when, right? But I do still see that 130 target in the future being reached. The market doesn't go straight down to it. It's probably going to take detours. We're going to have some large corrections back down to it. But I still see that 130 target. That's the one that can reach there. And if we continue lower, then we could probably reach that probably that 120 target. But as right now, I see us reaching that 130 target, and I'm going to show you guys the weekly chart now. So here we have the weekly chart for Alibaba, and it pretty much shows all the price action since its inception, its IPO back in 2014. So you can see the long-term pattern. It's an uptrend still, and we're just having this very large correction back down. And the next support level looks like it's right around the 130 level, just because we had that double bottom there. There are minor support levels along the way, but this looks like a bigger one, this 130 level. So let me show you guys that right now. It's pretty much the range lows. So these are the range lows right here, right around this 130 level, and it looks like the range highs is right around here, and we fell back inside of it, and we're pretty much still in this downtrend right here. So let me show you guys that right there. Let me change the color. Let's make it yellow. So we're still inside of this yellow downtrend. We could pull back in the near term, especially since we're just going sideways right now for a couple of weeks. So you can see this small little range right here. We're just going sideways inside of it. See how this big red bar is on the chart, and then the next bars are inside of it. We're not really going in any up or down direction. We're just going sideways. So that could just be a resting period for the buyers to come back in and move the market higher, to come back to retest the upper side of this channel and the EMA, or even break it, because even if we do start trending higher from here, then we're probably going to break this yellow channel. And if we do, that's a better sign, because eventually then that means we'll probably get the end of the downtrend. So if we do come a short here and we just start trending up from now on, and we break outside of this yellow channel and this EMA and come back up to that $200 level to test this breakout, or this 210 level, that doesn't mean it's the end of the downtrend. That just means it's a better sign, because we need to see a break outside of this yellow channel, and then we probably go back down to retest the lows or even make a new one. And when we do that, we could then definitely see a reversal back up to the highs. Or if we do continue higher, we kind of got to see like a retest of this breakout, or even a double test, and then continue higher. So those are the two ways that I can see that this downtrend will be over. Or we're just going to complete overshoot of this yellow channel, something like right here, and get like a V bottom. Those are the possible scenarios, but most likely we're just going to go sideways and then have a break outside and a move to a new low, something like this. So this is a previous pattern that looks like could play out again. So this was a downtrend channel right here after Alibaba made a new high, and we were working down, and then right around here, let me just zoom in a little better. So as you can see here, prices just went sideways for several weeks, and then we had a break outside and then a red bar telling us that we could continue lower, back down to retest these lower lows, or even make a new one. So that's what it looks like it could happen. We're pretty much inside of this yellow channel back here, this more recent yellow channel. We're going sideways right now. We're going sideways right here, and we could have this break outside to the upper side, just to trap in the longs and think that a bottom is in, but then eventually drop down the market, because the market likes to trap people who are impatient. They like to test people's emotions, right? People who are impatient, people who are scared, people who are greedy, right? This pretty much is a perfect money-making scheme, right? Because they know people's emotions. They know people are probably thinking this is the bottom, and everyone will buy in, and then they'll drop it one more time just to stop everyone out, and then go right where they expected. That's usually what happens many times in the market, just like what happened here. People thought maybe this was the bottom. It went up just a little bit, and then it came back down to retest the lows. So that's what I could see happening right here. We could let me just erase this drawings again one more last time. So we could be doing the same thing right here, just going sideways. We have a break outside and then a retest of these lows, or even stop these guys out, and then reverse back up. So that's what could happen. So that's pretty much my analysis for Alibaba. So we're still gonna probably continue lower. I don't see any bottom in play right now. We're probably gonna have a little correction back up, or even a larger one, but eventually, as of right now, it still looks like we could continue the downtrend even if we do get a large correction back up, and I'll go from there if anything else changes. So thank you for stopping by and checking out my video. Make sure to check out the rest of the channel, since you might be surprised on what you can learn. Leave a comment down below on where you think prices are headed. Also, share the video if you want your friends to learn about the markets. Lastly, I appreciate any feedback to help improve the channel, since we want to deliver great content to you guys. See you next time, and bye.